Well, it looks like the chickens are coming home to roost. Fat Joe is being sued by his former hype man for the amount of $20 million. And I'm telling you, he is being accused of damn near all the same things that Diddy is being accused of. Let's get into this. This lawsuit comes after the rapper sued Terrence Dixon in April for slandering him on social media by claiming Fat Joe flew a 16-year-old girl across state lines for SEX. Fat Joe's former hype man Terrence T.A. Dixon has filed an explosive lawsuit in federal court against the rapper on Thursday. Dixon is alleging that his former boss, whose real name is Joseph Antonio Cartagena, engaged in coercive labor exploitation, financial fraud, sexual manipulation, violent intimidation, and psychological coercion. Dixon adds that the hip-hop star behind such chart toppers as What's Love got rich and famous while he and his associates deliberately suppressed, silenced, and erased Dixon's substantial creative, artistic, and commercial contributions, which were foundational to Fat Joe's professional success and personal brand. He is seeking up to $20 million in damages. The complaint, filed in U.S. District Court, Southern District of New York, the same place where Diddy's suit was filed by Cassie, details so many disturbing claims about Fat Joe's alleged SEXUAL relations with women, including minors, that it contains a trigger warning on the first page of the 157-page document. For 16 years, Dixon served as Fat Joe's so-called hype man, a common figure in hip-hop who supports the artist by energizing the crowd and enhancing the overall performance. He also contributed as a lyricist and background vocalist on such hits as Congratulations, Ice Cream, and Money Over Bitches. According to the complaint, he had an unrivaled vantage point to observe the rapper's offstage lifestyle and behavior. Dixon is represented by Tyrone Blackburn, who is also the lead counsel in a high-profile case against Sean Diddy Combs. In February 2024, Blackburn filed a lawsuit on behalf of Diddy accuser Little Rodney, alleging SEXUAL assault, SEXUAL harassment, and failure to pay his underling. 1 month later, Department of Homeland Security agents conducted raids at Combs' mansions in Los Angeles and Miami. Dixon states in the complaint that Fat Joe forced him into humiliating situations, including SEX acts performed under duress and surveillance, accompanied by threats of abandonment in foreign countries if he refused compliance. By his own estimation, Dixon states in the suit that he was coerced into more than 4,000 SEXUAL acts to maintain his standing within the enterprise. Same thing as Tyler Perry. Same thing as Diddy. Like they're all doing the same thing. They're all in the same club. Most shockingly, the suit claims that Dixon personally witnessed Fat Joe engage in SEXUAL relations with children who were 15 and 16 years old, and lists 3 such Jane Does, including a 16-year-old Dominican girl in New York who, in exchange for cash, clothing, and payment of her cell phone bill, would perform oral SEX and other SEXUAL acts on the rapper. Minor Doe 2 is a Caucasian female and not a United States citizen. Fat Joe began allegedly having SEXUAL relations with Minor Doe 2 when she was 15 years old after a concert overseas. Defendant flew Minor Doe 2 to New York City and Miami, Florida on multiple occasions. Due to Minor Doe 2's body being adolescent and not fully formed, defendant paid for her to get a Brazilian butt lift. Minor Doe 2 eventually left defendant and is now married to a professional athlete, the complaint says. Minor Doe 3 is a Latina female who met the defendant when she was 15 years old, turning 16. According to Dixon, defendant was in love with Minor Doe 3. He even contemplated leaving his wife. The defendant paid all Minor Doe 3's bills and even took her overseas to his tour stops. He brought her to Florida and would put her up in a condo he rented a few blocks from his house with his wife, the lawsuit states. In a recorded conversation, Minor Doe 3 and her 15-year-old cousin described in detail to plaintiff how inappropriate it was for defendant, who was in his late 30s at the time, to be fawning over children. Fat Joe is represented by celebrity criminal attorney Joe Tacopina, who has defended everyone from A$AP Rocky and Donald Trump in high-profile cases. Tacopina responded to the lawsuit, saying in a statement to Variety, the lawsuit filed by Tyrone Blackburn and Terrence Dixon is a blatant act of retaliation, a desperate attempt to deflect attention from the civil suit we filed first, which exposed their coordinated scheme to extort Mr. Cartagena through lies, threats, and manufactured allegations. Law enforcement is aware of the extortionate demand at the heart of this scheme. The allegations against Mr. Cartagena are complete fabrications, lies intended to damage his reputation and force a settlement through public pressure. Mr. Cartagena will not be intimidated. They all speak the same language. We have taken legal action to expose this fraudulent campaign and hold everyone involved accountable, the statement continued. Defendants in the suit also include Pistol Pete Torres and Richard Rich player Just Pitre, who the complaint refers to as key associates in Fat Joe's criminal enterprise, asserting civil claims for violations of the Trafficking Victims Protection Act and the Racketeer Influence and Corrupt Organization Act, also known as Civil RICO, as well as related violations under New York and Florida law, including unjust enrichment, quantum merit, fraudulent concealment, fraud, intentional infliction of emotional distress, and money laundering. But that's not the kicker. Here's the kicker. The suit additionally names Jay-Z's Roc Nation, claiming that the company, which represents Fat Joe, knowingly participated in concealing, transferring, and manipulating Dixon's authorship rights and royalty interests, and sought to intimidate, harass, and obstruct the hype man's legitimate claims against Fat Joe, Torres, and Just Pitre. According to the lawsuit, the defendants engaged in deliberate tax fraud schemes, oh my goodness, in an effort to conceal their extensive wage theft, artificially inflated Dixon's tax liabilities, exposed him to unwarranted tax audits and penalties, and systematically obscured the exploited labor. The complaint cites a whistleblower accountant who came forward last year, as well as recorded phone calls that helped paint the picture of the alleged misdeeds. The move comes after Fat Joe sued Dixon in April for slandering him on social media by claiming that the Bronx-born rapper, who enjoys high-level political connections, flew a 16-year-old girl across state lines for sex. That suit also named Dixon's lawyer Tyrone Blackburn, claiming the pair tried to shake him down for a settlement. This is the right way to fight Joe, through the system. You can't fight him no other way. And you can't, because he's with Roc Nation. And y'all should all know what's up with Roc Nation by now. So they have to sue. Dixon tells Variety in an exclusive interview, Joe thinks he's a god. Joe thinks he's untouchable. Dixon's suit against Fat Joe goes much further than his social media posts and states that he endured a wide spectrum of SEX-UAL coercion, psychological control, forced exhibitionism, and surveillance-based humiliation. What is with this surveillance stuff? Including being compelled to perform SEX acts under observation, being filmed, sound familiar? or directed by Fat Joe in the presence of others. Tactics designed to control plaintiff's body, erode his autonomy, and ensure silence. It adds, these SEX-based abuses were not private, incidental, or isolated. They were integral to the enterprise's culture of dominance and humiliation, enforced by defendants' associates, such as Pistol Pete, JB, and others, and sustained across numerous tour locations, including Miami, North Carolina, Germany, Spain, and Wisconsin. In Thursday's complaint, Dixon claims that the activity took place on Market America's corporate yacht and at its mansion properties, where Fat Joe orchestrated repeated orgies involving plaintiff, female dancers, and minors. Defendant used. The lawsuit adds that Fat Joe used his status as a hip-hop star to compel Dixon and others into degrading SEX-UAL performances, often while Fat Joe watched, recorded, or directed the encounters. I feel like I'm reading Diddy's case now. These incidents occurred under conditions that included the presence of corporate security staff, surveillance cameras, and defendant's management entourage. Yet no intervention occurred, supporting the inference that these acts were facilitated by and covered up by the broader enterprise and its affiliates. The complaint continues. Dixon did not willingly consent to participate in these acts. Instead, plaintiffs submitted solely out of fear of immediate retaliation, which defendant repeatedly demonstrated would include financial punishment, professional sabotage, abandonment in foreign countries, or physical harm. The suit claims that Fat Joe also issued veiled death threats and witness intimidation via direct messages such as, "You love your family, right? Fall back in 48 hours and we'll let you live." I believe it. I believe it. Though Fat Joe hobnobbed with some of the biggest names in politics, including then Vice President Kamala Harris, there was at least one brush with scandal back in 2010. He and members of his entourage were detained and questioned after a University of Wisconsin student reported an alleged SEX-UAL assault following a performance at the city's Orpheum Theater. At the time, Fat Joe's attorney called the woman a pretender groupie who was attempting to shake down the rapper for money. That's what they always say. Always repeat the same excuse. Tyler Perry said the same thing. Diddy said the same thing. Jay-Z has said that on occasion. And Roc Nation is being accused of laundering money for them, for Fat Joe, when he was trying to evade the IRS. So they're named in another lawsuit. And it's not looking too good for any of these people. It really isn't. And some would say, oh, they shaking down all the black people. No. The ones that are above them, that taught them this behavior, they're laying low and running. But these guys are standing around acting like they're untouchable. And nobody can get at them for the things they have done. So this is why they're taking the brunt of punishment. Because they want to stand there and defend other people and they in the way. So they're going to be taken out of the way. Okay? As we are seeing now. Right in front of our eyes, all of them are crumbling because they were all practicing the same debauchery. Okay? And we will continue to look into this, but I also found an article from 2021 that was questioning why Trump pardoned Desiree Perez. Now, we're going to get into that because her ass is in trouble. She's named in this suit as well as the suit that her daughter just put on her. So I think they're about to come for them soon. They've been gathering evidence for a long time now. And they might have just pardoned her just so that they could feel free to do what they want to do and they can gather more evidence because they're doing everything out in the open. And that's exactly what they was doing. But anyway, I'll be back soon. Peace and love.
Tree time.